It's 9:17, and here's a question for you. Have you ever seen a piece of artwork from ancient Egypt that appears to be damaged? You probably have. Some of you have thought about it, others haven't. But if so, it's very likely that damage was intentional, and the Cummer Museum's newest exhibit explores why. So joining us in studio this morning, the chief curator at the Cummer, Holly Keris, to talk a little bit more about the new exhibit, which is called Striking Power, Iconoclasm in Ancient Egypt. That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I know that you and the rest of the team at the Cummer are really excited about this exhibit.
We really are. You know, this is our second time working with the Brooklyn Museum. They were the organizers of the French Moderns exhibition we had over the summer. And this collection of ancient Egyptian material is drawn entirely from their permanent collection.
So you get to get up close and personal with some ancient artifacts.
Yes, yes. Unpacking is always a lot of fun and a little nerve-wracking on those days.
How does that work?
There's a lot of preparation and a lot of holding your breath.
And gloves.
And gloves and riggers and pulleys and all kinds of things.
Okay, so I'm guessing that doesn't get overnight.
No.
Dropped off.
No, it does
doorstep.
not.
Tell me about people that want to come out and see it. What can they expect to see?
Sure. I mean, so, you know, your point exactly. You've seen something that's broken, and maybe you've asked the question, maybe not. But really, the reason that the Brooklyn Museum came up with this exhibition in the first place is because their visitors asked them that question on their blog. They said, why are all the noses broken? And, you know, what we don't really think about today is that in ancient Egypt, these materials, these images, they weren't just images, they were literal representations of human beings, of gods and goddesses. So by damaging something intentionally, you're not only taking the power away from that individual during this lifetime, but in the afterlife as well.
Okay.
So that's where the iconoclasm comes from, damaging images, not just to damage them, but to take away their power in perpetuity.
And this goes back to that fight for power between the pharaohs and the leaders, and
Absolutely.
there was that constant
There's
struggle
always
to
that
be on
struggle.
top.
You didn't necessarily want you know, your predecessors' good memories being preserved. If you wanted to do something different or you wanted to set really your own example. Gods and goddesses came out in and out of favor with different rulers. So all of these things played into a systematic campaign that was executed in ancient Egypt up through the early Christian period. And that's really where we see a lot of this damage occurring.
Let's talk about just being able to get up close and personal. So for me, as like 7, 8 years old, I really loved reading about it, looking at the books.
Who doesn't love ancient Egypt,
reading
right?
the encyclopedias, and now you actually get to see these artifacts.
Yes.
What is really going to stand out as possibly the most impressive to most of your guests?
You know, we've got a large sarcophagus lid. It weighs between 2,000 and 3,000 pounds.
With or without a mummy?
No mummy, just the lid. It's
Okay.
only the lid. But that's one of the objects in the exhibition that isn't broken. So what we tried to do is pair intact images with the broken ones so visitors can really start to understand what was removed and how these objects that we see today in fragments, what they would have been like back in the day in their totality. But the sarcophagus lid is pretty great.
Wow, and it's great to see that so many of these things are being preserved.
Yes.
And they're still going around the country so that children, adults, all ages can learn about
it. Absolutely. It's an important story.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for talking with us. This is exciting. I can't wait to get over there and see him in person, geek out a little bit, you know, in honor of
Yes.
7-year-old me back when I was reading all the books and trying to learn it. So the exhibition kicks off this Friday. It runs through April the 26th. So you do have some time there. You do have time, just like the pharaohs. You can even see the exhibit for free this Saturday, February the 1st, during the Weaver First Saturday Free for All event. There's also going to be a lecture series with the director and CEO, Adam Levine, on select days in February, March, and April. The Art of Power and Egyptian Dinner Party will also be held on February the 21st. Interesting stuff. We will be right back. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.